Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life radio, podcast, and television show. I'm your host, life coach Myrna Young, and sitting in the guest chair today is Cheri Petroni. Sheri and I are going to be talking today on the topic, aligning the 4 energy bodies for physical vitality and holistic wellness. Welcome, Sheri.
Thank you. I am so thrilled to be here and share what I know with you. We've already had a little bit of a discussion, and I'm happy to be here today.
You're very welcome. Yes. So we bonded already, had a little mixed up in the schedule, and so we had a good time to talk before I pressed the record button. So I'm excited for this conversation as well. I hope to learn a lot from Sheri today, right along with you guys. So let me give you guys a brief introduction. Cheri Petroni supports women who are in pain over health, wealth, and relationships. She is an authority in aligning and harmonizing one's physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies to achieve success in all 4 of these areas. She founded the world-recognized Oasis, the Zen Transformation Spa in Las Vegas, Nevada, 10 years ago, on the guiding principle that inner and outer beauty becomes wellness. Sheri's on a mission to help women achieve freedom in health, wealth, and relationships. Awesome. Right. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about holistic wellness, physical wellness, and we're also going to tap into a little bit about how this affects your money. So as we start off, Sheri, you mentioned the 4 energy bodies. Can you expand on that?
Yes. So everything in the world, if we remember from high school physics, is energy, including our bodies. And so there are energy centers. Some people know them as chakras. Some people have no idea what that means. And the reality is it's how our energy shows up in our body. So we have these chakra centers, and they are broken up into, for lack of a better way, because they really interconnect, are the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, and the spiritual body. And when they are in alignment, they work together for maximum and optimum performance of our body. And when they're not working together because one is off, the other is off. And at that simplest level, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's very true. I spend a lot of time on energy, and I love conversations about energy. I am rereading Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, The Supernatural. And in there, he talks all about, taking your body from this physical form, which is limited, and using quantum energy and quantum field. So, so let's spend some time talking about the chakras, right? So I know that there's like 100 and something chakras, but we concentrate on 7 main ones, right? So if we're talking about relationships, for one, I know about health. How does these chakras align with, how is a better question, how is a misalignment, unalignment, whatever the word is, in your chakras affecting your relationships? Say that better for me.
Yeah. So here's a really cool fact about the body that not very many people know. So the chakra centers, the energy centers, first of all, they have been specifically scientifically found to be the frequencies that we say they are. So there is scientific background, and Tanio Technologies, I think, is it TANIO, and I think it's Technologies. I can't remember the guy's name, but that was his last name. Actually looked at this and measured this, I don't know, decades ago, because I've known it for as long as I've been doing this. And so the chakra centers are connected to our neurological system and our lymphatic system. And so what happens is when those energy centers are not in alignment, okay, what's the neurological system and the vagus nerve? That's all about PTSD, moral injury, misalignment where we're not able to think clearly and things of that nature. And then the lymphatic system needs to be pumped because we don't actually have a pump in our body. So we have to move and we need to do these things. So there's that physical aspect, right? So what happens is if those are not all in alignment, everything's really out of whack. So someone might be like, well, my relationship is crazy and I'm overgiving and I'm doing this and I can't set my boundaries, and then I do, and then I move them. Well, technically it's second chakra. That's where our emotions are. But it really probably also goes into the root chakra, which is, okay, when I was a kid, we moved a lot. So I didn't have a lot of safety feeling or foundation and having a place to go because we were moving all of the time. Or, you know, my dad had to change jobs because they say something funny. They closed the coal mine. That's not funny if you actually had that happen. So
I know.
But then I had to move. We had to move to another state where there was a different mine or whatever. And as technology has come up, there's the whole issue of one thing changes to another so fast, some of us can't keep up with it even now within our own companies. So the point is so everything affects everything else. So with relationships, what's happening? Well, we can't say no, especially as women, or we're overgiving, or we're blurting, like say maybe there's an anger issue underneath because as a kid you were never heard. And so instead of listening to your spouse, blah, blah, or you hold it in and then you just go, blah, which is also communication here, which is, so they're connected. And so it's really much easier to look at it as a whole and come in and find out what the person is actually experiencing that they don't want to experience anymore. And it could be, I'm so sick of blurting something out while someone else is talking and then having them mad at me, or I lose my client, which is money as well, but it's also relationships. And when we talk about relationships, it isn't just spouse, it's everywhere, right? Because if you're that kind of a boss, you might have trouble with people coming back to work after a little while because they don't want to be treated like that because their chakras are in alignment. So it's really about how we show up in the world, and we're an energy body having a human physical experience. And so we're trying to learn how to have this energetic piece in our physical bodies. So that was kind of a long answer, but it is really everything. And so everything is energy, and how we show up is energy. And if you find yourself doing something particular that you don't like, there's probably a misalignment. And when you fix that one thing, then other things also fall into place.
Actually, that was an excellent, like I said, this is like school for me. Whenever I come on this show and when I ask questions, because I want to know, and I know that my curious mind is going to have the listeners want to know and whatever. So yeah, I spend a lot of time meditating on my chakras, but you know, each chakra has a specific function, like you just talked about. You know, your root chakra is all about grounding, and your second chakra is about creating in relationship. But I've never heard the chakras talk about, you know, the function of them about relationships, which is why I started out there, because that was my curiosity. But as you're talking, even though you said it was a long answer, it was a good answer, because it brought understanding to me, and you picked, you know, to relay, you know, your analogy of, you know, someone that's blurting. But when you're talking, I went to the person that doesn't speak up, which is what normally happens, which is the most common one. You know, when your throat chakra is blocked, you can't speak up for yourself. You're always playing small. And as you were talking, and yeah, so obviously if you can't speak up, or you become a pleaser and things like that, then definitely that helps with, you know, that's all part of the chakra affecting your relationship. And I like what you talked about the root chakra. Yes, you know, we're thinking ground into the earth when I'm thinking of the chakra and you know, ground into the earth. But yeah, you can move around. A lot of children were military babies, where they, you know, their parents kept moving all the time and they never really formed a connection. So that's all pretty good. So I love you know, where we're starting off. But I mean, I wasn't going to talk about the money until later on, but you know, I feel that once we're on this particular topic, then I should just include it here. So we know these. So we just talked about how these chakras affect our relationships. And I was able to understand that piece, but I don't understand the money piece. So let's talk about that.
Okay. And so it does in some ways go right back to relationships, because, and what you were just talking about of someone maybe not speaking their truth, right? Which is that part of, we keep it in. I mean, I'm going to keep the peace no matter what. And I will compromise this and I will compromise this. And, now I'm almost 60 and I'm like, done with that. But because you get to a certain age, and if you're really honest with yourself, you're just not going to do it anymore.
Are you a believer of magic in the universe? Visit Twilight Wings Magics on Etsy. Twilight Wings is a professional spiritual healer who specializes in spells and rituals to create change in your life. Get one-on-one service and trusted 5-star spells that have worked since ancient times to discover wealth, rebuild your relationships, and help you find success. Visit Twilight Wings on Etsy by searching Twilight Wing Magics.
But then what I would do is I would blurt out, and then I couldn't figure out why when I go, well, everybody, whatever it is, and I'm losing it, really, they're not listening to me either, because neither way to the extremes work. Those are really the dark side of the chakras, blurting and going, don't you see me, or not saying anything and expecting to be seen as well. And because we're not taken serious in either way. So what happens with your money? Well, you're the one that is always passed by for the promotion. Well, she's just good where she is. She's going to keep doing whatever we want. We don't need to pay her money. We don't need to have any of these things happen. And it happens with men too, but this particular thing seems to happen more with women, right? And so, or you have a financial situation. I moved out very young, and I was a teacher in my former life, I joke, but I was like probably 22 when I went into my career. And it was so weird because I was top of my class. So I was hired mid-year, but then when it came time to rehire, because then what they did is they opened 7 other schools clear across like 45 minutes from where my house is. And I wanted to get closer to home, and I had to do 10 interviews. And it was a time when they were really, really like counting down to the numbers for are you, do we have so many people of color and this, and they kind of went away. And now we're kind of more of a balance with some of that. And I was like, I'm just an Irish girl. And so I kept getting passed over, but I didn't say anything. Like I didn't say anything. And I started thinking there was something wrong with me. And I had the most amazing principal ever. And he was a Black man, and he was the most amazing. He was like a father figure for me. And we worked for many years together. And he said, honey, you are the best person I have had come in here in a long time. You're going to see what happened in our school, because guess what? We don't do that. And they're afraid of me, because he worked here when in Las Vegas, when it was, there was the segregation, all that, and he had a history, and nobody messed with Mr. Freeman. And I learned why. And he and I had this amazing relationship. And when I went into the school, it was the most eclectic, diverse group I'd ever seen. And it was amazing because it happened. And I don't really, I don't know how he did or what he did, but he just did it. And so what was funny about that is I learned to have my voice there, because everyone had a place. What was interesting is as I left that and I got into the coaching world, I reverted back to my old ways, because I never cleared my beliefs around some of that from when I was a kid. And it showed up again. He honored me automatically. But later on, as I did other things, and as I became that codependent wife and all of which my husband didn't ask for, but he capitalized on it, not because he wanted to capitalize on, but that's human nature, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, it created an environment that I quit my job, and then I opened the spa, and then COVID hit, and then now and then what happened is right before that is I did see that I was doing a lot of stupid things in my business. And I say stupid because I'm like, why am I doing this working 7 days a week and things of that nature, because it showed up in my money, because I was always going, oh, well, I'll stay for an extra 5 hours for a $15 eyebrow wax for you and be here at 9 o'clock at night. Wow. So what does that do to your relationships at home? And then what does that do? Are you really making more money? No, you're not, because the cost is so big. I went down a rabbit hole kind of there, but I swung about my
tie that back to your energy body, because I got lost in the translation.
Yeah, so the 4 energy bodies is here's what it is so okay. You're codependent, you're people pleasing, you're not speaking your truth, you're being very quiet about it, and so you're honoring everyone else but yourself. So it might be, well, I really work on Saturday and this is my busiest day, but I'm going to not go because my mom asked me to do XYZ that could be done any other day. And then so I people please, I go and say yes when I really should be saying no. And then I lose, let's say $500 in that half of the day, because that's when most of the people come, is on the weekends. So that's an example. So which energy body is it? It's really, they're all out of alignment, because I'm not thinking clearly. I'm reacting from a place of emotion. I don't want my mom to not like me. So then I make a decision that affects my money. And then of course my head is speaking to me about what a worthless person I am, because look what you did again. And then if my mom's in a bad mood, she gets mad at me, and then we have a fight, and then it just rolls into everything. And so there's an overlap really in the bigger picture of one is out of whack, just like your car. If you need a tune-up, well, spark plugs aren't really around so much anymore, but if that check engine light is on and it's over here about the engine, then most likely there are other things that are being affected in that car as well, because they're working overtime to help that, whatever the check engine light is, and we'll just say a spark plug that's working poorly. And so it all needs that balance for it to work 100%. And then our body's just the same way.
Yes, that's pretty good. You know, a couple weeks ago, my daughter said to me that because she's a people pleaser, and she is one of these people that don't speak up for herself unless she's pushed, right? So she told me that I'm the one that told her when she was growing up that she should respect her elders, and that she has translated that to not speak up. And I said, you know, I didn't want to not take blame. You know, I said, well, I don't remember the circumstances. I don't remember anything about that. But you know that I'm a warrior. You know that I always speak up and I always advocate for myself. But listening to you now, I'm actually thinking that her chakras are not in alignment, especially her throat chakra, and it has nothing to do with me. What do you think? So from I work in the Clear Beliefs Institute as a mentor coach, because I believe in it so much that I help other coaches become that. And I'm also very well trained in it. And so that is a belief, right? She believes that. She remembers it coming from that place. So I would talk to her. I would probably end up doing an inner child rescue, which just simply means is you take her there, see what is going on, and see how perhaps as a child with no prefrontal cortex working at that time, right? Oh, I can see where that would have been misunderstood, as every adult has to be respected if they're older than me, because sometimes, no, if somebody's stealing from you and they've got a gun to your head, you don't go, okay, sir, like you're trying to think about how do I get myself out of here, which is an extreme situation, but you don't, you know, I mean, you might hand it over, but you might have a different scenario. So that would be the beginning. And then giving her enough relief to look at the belief, shift the belief, and go into something that is more empowering for her, and then work on how with that inner child and the new belief, she could move forward. So in a couple of sessions, that could be cleared and done, and her whole life changes. Yes. Well, I'll definitely tell her to look into that, because yes, that is a problem for her. Yeah. All right, so that's great. So we have, we started off rocking. So I understand that you have a fun analogy to explain how each energy body contributes to holistic health. So can we talk about that now?
Yeah, so I have plenty. There's a lot of analogies that I have. And so one would be the car, which a lot of people, you know, except for the younger ones don't remember when my dad used to pull out the spark plugs and clean them off with a rag and then put them back in. And then they would get a little bit longer. So that's kind of like what a meditation does, right? But if you have something deeper, like I have to respect my elders, there might need to be a little bit of deeper work. And so, and it doesn't have to be painful and you cry, and sometimes we cry, but it is in a different way. So I'll give you another one. So let's take, oh my gosh, the Philharmonic. What is that? Oh, this. So we'll take
symphony, right?
The symphony. Right. Yeah. So the symphony. So everybody is at their prime when they are on that stage, right? So if they were all the chakras, even the minor chakras, so you have your 8 or your 9 major chakras, you can, some people say 12, and then all those go into minor chakras all the way throughout your body. They are playing pristine, they're in harmony, complete and total synchrony, and you are on top of your game. Well, then let's say the guy with the tuba falls over and he kind of can't get up, and he's going, and he's trying to put it back together, and there starts to be some disharmony. And then the other people in the group start to kind of look, and then they're off, and then they're trying to get back on, right? So that is how the chakras work. So the disharmony, those pieces that, okay, I just said I'm going to take a $15 eyebrow wax in 5 hours, and I really should be home with my kids because they're young, elementary school, is a disharmony. So that would be the example of maybe the tuba guy falling over, sort of. And then from there, it just goes, and then, you know, so then by the end, let's just say then another person falls on the other person, and by the end, they're like not even playing anymore, and they're trying to get back up, and nobody knows what's going on. And it's a comical thing, but that disharmony and that feeling that something's just not right is the same as if you had, okay, 6th or 7th grade, and you go into music class and they're playing, and it's all like
that was a good analogy, because I can actually picture
and that's the chakras trying to figure
and
it
everybody,
out.
Yes.
And then I'm going,
I'm actually hearing it.
Yeah, oh sure, I'll do that, no problem. And they're going, meh, meh, what? Like, what are you thinking? Like, why are you doing that? You need to be with your kids. And so then of course then the fight when you get home, and then you go, okay, well then maybe I shouldn't do that. But then there might be a time, if it's a $500 client, then that might be acceptable. But we go to those extremes as humans.
Right.
And so yeah, that's an easy way when you think about a 7th grade symphony versus one where somebody's getting paid to be there and be pristine. That's the difference. And so sometimes we can't hear the note that is off. We just know something's off. Yeah. And that's when clients come to me and go, okay, I don't really know. Doesn't mean you have to be there for 5 years or anything. But when therapy doesn't work, which sometimes it doesn't, because it's that specific piece that we can't get to in an hour session.
I like that part, because a lot of times I should say me, not a lot of times, because I spend a lot of time meditating, and I spend a lot of time in nature. And what I'm doing when I'm in nature and when I'm meditating, I'm working on my energy body, and I'm working to, to refresh my energy. So once in a while, though, I will feel out of alignment, or I will feel in a negative space, and I don't know what, but I do know it is not positive. And then what I do is I try to get back into positive alignment, because I'm into positivity. But I never thought that it could be my chakras being out of alignment. So which chakra should you focus on when you're feeling negative energy? like you said, you're off, but you're not sure why.
So if you're doing the daily balance of all the chakras in whatever form, whether it be meditation or you listen to, the YouTube channels with the very high vibration energies and things of that nature, and you're getting knocked off your game during the day, and you're going, oh my gosh, I just did it again. I just said yes. Why? Why did I say yes? You need somebody else to take a look at it. You really just need to go and say, okay, I don't know why this is happening. And so my favorite thing to say is, well, what do you prefer not to experience anymore? And then we go in and I do some somatic work. I check in, and then we go into like, well, what is behind all of that, right? And your body keeps the score. Your body knows.
Yeah.
The cells know. You've got intergenerational trauma. You have things from hundreds of years ago that still show up sometimes if no one else has cleared it. And what's really cool is if you clear it, Myrna, then everything from your past, present, and future, you've cleared it for your daughter. You've cleared it for, like, so my daughter, she is a powerhouse. And I know part of it is because I've cleared so much stuff in my life that she has become more and more productive. And she hasn't really done the work that I did. And so I'm not saying you need that, but
I mean, no, is that after she was born or?
After, yes. Because the laws of the universe, there is no time and space. So when somebody works on themselves, your frequency goes to your family, goes to the past, it goes to, and we keep it in ourselves. So those people in the past, so sometimes if you believe in something like past life, stuff, or wherever it is our family goes, when our belief system comes into play, and you will have sometimes an ancestor come in and go, oh, I'm really sorry, I gave this to you, and this was, and you have no idea who it is, and that's okay. And let's just say it's all fake, it's all just in your head. If it helps you no longer have that, do you really care?
Right.
Like, so it isn't even about whether you believe. If you just think, okay, I'm having a live dream right now, and this is who's coming forth, I figure it doesn't really matter. So I don't get hung up on whether, well, you have to believe or you have to believe this. If this is coming up and you're open to clearing it, it will clear.
I like that. I like that. I've heard so many different explanations to how you can clear your energy. Some people talk about, there's one guest I had on here that said to get into feminine energy and listen to music and move your body. And, a lot of people say go in nature and communing with the trees, but I never thought about the chakras until now that, I don't do chakra meditations every day, but I do meditation, and it just depends on where I'm at, what I'm doing, manifestation meditation, what I'm doing, Joe Dispenza, energy quantum field meditation, or whatever it is I'm doing. But again, yes, once in a while, I do the balance of the chakras. So I'll spend some more time on that. So that's great.
What's interesting about that is really you are balancing the chakras, because as your vibration is raised to a higher frequency, you're entraining the chakras as that frequency. Let's say 136 and 1/10, which is your hertz, is your heart chakra. So as it's raising it, and that is entrained as that frequency, and so then you get the whole auric field and all of that, and then you are doing that. So quantum energy, absolutely. Walking in nature, feminine energy, if you are very yang oriented, which is male energy, you need to balance the feminine and masculine. However, if you're really super feminine and you're already people pleasing and all of those other things, you need some of the yang energy so that you can say no. So these are all great tools as needed. And so sometimes, like, I used to do all the feminine stuff, but I never spoke up for anything. And I was the only one there morning and night, and everybody else came in, did their meditation, did whatever it was, like massage or whatever in the spa. And I'm doing all of the more of the deeper work. because that's just how I ended up being in there. But point is I was also the one doing all the laundry and making sure all of the rooms were clean and all of, because I was still mommy Sheri in the spa, which is not a business place to be. And it was because I was not in the balance of yin and yang energy. And so there is with everything balance. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't necessarily balance the chakras per se as, okay, I'm going to balance my chakras.
Okay.
But
that's
yeah,
good. That's good, because I'm thinking that I don't normally do that once in a while. But yes, I do work on my vibrational energy because it's very, very important. It's very, very important. Like I said, yes, I make that a priority. So awesome. All right. So how does emotional liberation through energy body alignment create a positive financial environment? I know we talked already about, our chakras and money, how it relates. But when you're talking about a financial environment, I think you're talking about the house. I mean, when I say environment, the whole thing. So talk to us about that.
So what happens with women in particular? So there's a statistic that I heard not that long ago, that women will only speak what they believe to be true if they're at least 85% positive that it is 100% true, where men will speak it at 15%. And then they fix it if they need to as they go along, right? So what does that say about us as business people, whether it's the household or whether you own a business or you're an employee somewhere? Well, what it is that, so we're going to try harder as women. And what I mean by that is, okay, I'm going to be a perfectionist. I'm going to not prioritize whether my family needs me at home. I'm going to say I'll work later because I want to make sure that I'm doing everything at that 85%, at least, that I know this is the best thing for them. And so then we don't take the risks of saying, look, my kids need me tonight, and I've been here every day this week spending, or no, I'm not going to go out on girls' night because my kids need me to read when they could, your husband could read, or the babysitter could read them a story or what have you. And then the procrastination. I'll take care of needing self-care tomorrow or the next day, or then it ends up being 5 weeks. What does that do? It actually creates that lack, that state of lack, that scarcity mentality that does not give you as a human being the cleansing and healing of mind, body, and spirit, which are those 4 energy bodies. So you don't have time for meditation. You don't sleep. You start eating poorly. So what does all of that do? Not only do you end up being a miserable human being, your energies are out of alignment. So you're not making the money that you need to, because now maybe you might get fired because you're just not a nice person anymore. So it really snowballs into so much more. And if you're your own business person, or you're at work, like, I was watching a show, which I very rarely watch TV or anything. I don't even have a regular TV, and this woman, no matter what time of the day or night, this mother who had all her adult kids living there and grandkids and whatever, she's always doing laundry or cooking or whatever. And she was never, and I thought, wow, like, to me, it was such that is out of alignment. You're not in an abundant state, and you're not in a prosperous state, which means your financial abundance, even if you have money, you are not taking the benefits of having the money to take care of yourself and do what you want to do.
You might have the money,
in all those situations, because people want you and you keep doing it. So it goes back to that, all of them need to be, you have to have mind, body, spirit, and physical. Well, mind, body, spirit, well, physical and mental and emotional are really the mind, but not really, because we react from our body sometimes too. When we start bawling or something because you said yes to 10 people and the 11th one you just cry all over or whatever. That's an extreme, but
it's true. Women are such pleasers. I mean,
and men are starting to be more, don't you think?
Is that a man problem too, or it's just
I have seen that more men are coming in. I mean, I don't get it. It's a spa, so and I work with women more in general,
Right.
just because that's just how
Right,
it
right.
is. And I tend to get a lot of women though that are in their early 30s now, which is very interesting to me. It's almost like I have my age group, over 40, 50, whatever. And then there's this under 35 that I'm starting to get where they're coming with some of these same things. Where they which is interesting. There's that 15 years that I guess for whatever reason. But yes, also men, I do get where they go, well, I don't know how to do this. How do I take care of myself, because I'm supposed to be the man and I'm just going to keep doing this, but I really want to stay home and play with my kids.
Yeah, I was talking more about the people pleasing, not wanting to say no because you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, or
well, that is people pleasing.
To like you.
Yeah, that's people pleasing. It's you're doing instead of saying I would love to, and this doesn't work for me today. Can we do it on another time?
Yes.
Like most people don't even know that it's that simple. You don't have to explain.
But yeah, it's definitely a woman thing that, you always want to be like whatever the men. I don't know if they care much unless it's with their woman, but in the workplace, they don't care.
No, a lot of them don't. And because they've been trained that way, that you just step on the next person if you need to. And then, there was this time, okay, so I'm going to really age myself. So the younger folks that are listening to this, but I remember the Angelique commercial like it was yesterday. So it was I want to say late 70s, maybe early 80s, but I bring home the bacon, da-na-na-na, fry it up in the pan, da-na-na-na, and never, 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 never let you forget you're a man, because I'm a woman, Angelique. And that messed me up for decades, and I didn't know. And I can see how she went from a suit to her mommy clothes to her lingerie. I can see the whole thing. And I was like, that was really a disservice to me, because I thought I had to be everything to everyone. And that was my limiting belief from that. Nobody did that to me. I misinterpreted that. They were just trying to sell me.
But that those commercial people, the commercials are programmed for your psychology. They're programmed, right? Yes, they're programmed. They know what button to push, and they know how to sell their products, and it's all about programming. So what you took from that is what they wanted you to take from that.
Except for I never bought didn't have the money to buy the darn perfume, but I certainly got that whole thing, which was sort of an 80s thing. You just do it all. You can be anything and it started in the 70s, and and there's versions of it now.
In my culture, you call the superwoman. You do everything.
Yeah, superwoman until your tape falls off.
Right. What was that?
The wheels fall off. Ours for women we're superwomen, and it's till the cape falls off. Then what?
Yes, it's
it's not necessary to have all that. Do we really want all that? I don't think so. Most of us would like certain things, and then we want our freedom to do what we want to do. And it's not necessarily a ton of money. It's enough money to be able to do those other things, because time matters way more than the money, but the money makes things easier.
Yes.
Whether we like it or not.
Right. So let's talk about the abundant mindset now, because that is one of the favorite topics of this show. We're talking about transforming your mind, transforming your mindset. How does our energy body contribute to an abundant mindset?
So when our four energy bodies are in alignment, we are able to see things from an abundance mindset, which is that anything is possible. All things are possible, which really just flows from what I just said, versus the scarcity mindset. As soon as we have that, oh, I don't know about this. Oh, that starts, just even if it's up here, starts breaking down the alignment of the energy bodies. And that in and of itself is enough to throw things off. But you have this abundant mindset of anything is possible. And then you get to go in and go, okay, they want me to work late, just because that's what we've been kind of talking about. And you check. no, I can't. My kids need me to pick them up at ball practice.
Right.
And at 4 o'clock. And
Right.
I really wanted to watch them. Instead of going, ooh, I could, somebody else and and have them, and then I'll owe them, and that kind of thing, which goes back to scarcity. So when all of those energy bodies are in alignment, you have the abundance mindset, and you'll notice when you're thinking something that's a little bit out of alignment, what we usually do is go, oh, that's okay, I can manage. And then it builds into something that is more in misalignment. And then that's when the scarcity stuff comes back. So what I try to do with people is help them eliminate those things that are not in abundance, right? Because when we have that anything is possible, then we can look and see, do I want this? Do I want this? Neither of them or both of them. And then the prosperity. So the reason I say I'm a prosperity mindset coach is because the prosperity is the manifestation, the physical manifestation of having the anything is possible mindset, which could be $1 million, or it could be a car that is paid off and then it runs like I've got this car that's 10 years old and I don't ever want to get rid of it because it's never broken down. It's ugly and everything else, and I don't care. And because it's my car and it's just too reliable for me to bother with at this point. And it could be that, okay, I only work 3 days a week for 6 hours a day, and I spend all this time with my kids or my grandkids, because my grandkids live 2 hours away. And that's my why right now, is to go and visit them at least once or twice a month.
Okay.
So that's that abundance mindset going into the prosperity, which is that manifestation of things that aren't necessarily tangible. Because people go, oh, well, I don't want a car and $1 million and a plane. Yeah, but do you want to be able to go see somebody whenever you want? And I've just seen my family that do not live here in Vegas more than I ever have my entire life, because I go. And I have the ability to do so now because I allowed that to be possible and have that abundance mindset.
Yes, I love it. You're correct. People always think that an abundant mindset. Well, there's abundance and there's abundance mindset. Now, abundance means that you got more than you need, right? And the abundance mindset is that, yes, you can be poor and have an abundant mindset, because you're having an abundance mindset because the universe is full of anything that you need. You might even think, I started off doing the vortex meditation, where you're saying, the things that are manifested is just out there. It's not in your hand yet, but it's out there. So that's the abundance mindset, that yes, anything is possible.
It's not a pie. Yes. It's not a pie where everybody's cutting it out. I need my little sliver. No, with everybody can achieve whatever they choose to believe. And when you talk about someone that's poor, they could have so much more wealth than someone that has 1 million or 10 million in their darn bank account and they're all alone every day.
Yes.
I would rather have the wealth of a poor person than the money
mindset
of a wealth have a money person, because they have no wealth, because they don't have anything that feeds their soul.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Listen, I watched a movie called The Happiness Movie about people in India that had the same abundance mindset and are happy, even though they're making like $300 a year and sleeping on the ground with just a cover. And they were happy because their abundance mindset was family. And that was basically what made them happy. Family, relations, so you just talked about your children. Yes, having love in your life is an abundant mindset. I grew up thinking, I don't even know where it comes from, and it's not really true, but I grew up with this concept of barefoot and pregnant, which was, you got no money, but you're happy, you got a relationship. And I don't know where that came from, but that's just something that I think, I don't know, where some romance book or something. So that's amazing, Sheri. We've had an amazing conversation. I've learned a lot from you. I'm pretty sure our listeners and those watching on TV is learning a lot from you. So now let's talk about your Oasis to Zen Transformation Spa in Las Vegas. So talk about what you do there and how can our listeners connect with you. For, you know, if they're in Vegas, obviously they can come in physically, and if they're not in Vegas, you know, how do they benefit from your services?
Okay, yeah. So what's really, really something I had never expected when I opened this particular place. I've been in the wellness field, well, even if I look at it as a teacher all my life, but definitely. So for 20 years, so had my aesthetics licensing for that amount of time and so forth. And so, but I opened Oasis to Zen Transformation 10 years ago, purely as a financial move. Actually, it was cheaper to buy a place than it was to rent a room. And so what I wasn't prepared for was the number of people that came from the Strip who visited here and decided they wanted more than simply a facial or a waxing or a massage. So we don't have hair and nails because it's a toxic-free space. And we mean toxic-free for mind, body, and spirit. And so I have a lot of clients that come in that do not, that they have issues with smells and you know, like sensitivities and things. And so that was also a sidebar. But as far as the people that come from outside of Las Vegas, they'll call me 10 times or 3 times or 5 times or text me or send me emails, and I've got a run of it right now. We have so many groups that are coming in right now. It's not even funny, from all over the country. And I have one of Nelson Mandela's children that was you know, basically an orphan. She comes to see me. She oh my gosh, just that's a whole, it doesn't get any better than that. Her energy, I think, how could you want me to work on you? Well, she sees something in me that I'm like, but do you not see who you are? Like, she's like, oh no, I know who I am. And so it's really cool. So there's all kinds of people that come in, and you can get a traditional massage and facial, but you can also get the energy infused piece, which is you know, anything vibrational that raises your energy. So it could be music, it could be tuning forks, it could be crystal bowls, essential oils, acupressure, Reiki, some other form of energy healing. So we do all of those things encompassing, as well as group things. So if someone comes here, call me ahead of time or text me or email me, and you can take care of doing some of that. However, I also do the coaching, which is the things I've alluded to, the clear beliefs and the mindset pieces, where if you just have something that you're like, I don't know what's going on, it could be a simple discovery session and you go, oh, okay, and then you move on. But quite often it might take a session or two. And then sometimes, you know, I have whole chakra programs where you're looking at all of those chakras and what happened. Because like for me, I did have quite a few places I lived and some money issues and some other things when I was a kid, and I had to do more, and that's okay as well. So there's something here for everyone, and I can do all that energy healing because of the laws of time and space, and that there is none in the universe because the energy goes where it needs. So I would suggest that if anyone wants to come here, they can call or email or text. So the actual, you can do a clarity session as well. If you're like, I don't even know where to begin, I just need to talk to you. So there's that. So Oasis to Zen, so OASTOZEN.com is where you can get all of my information. I am Sheri, CHERI, at OASIS2Zen.com. And the phone number is 702-491-6035. And that's textable. And I have it with me. I have it with me right now, sitting here on silent. and it's with me all the time. And so there is no wrong time to call or text. And I will sometimes be answering super early in the morning for me, which may be midday for you. And so if you have any sort of thing that you feel is in misalignment, I can help you in some way, whether you're living here or come here or not. And if I can't do it, I know somebody else that could. And sometimes you just need a little bit of a talk. And whatever it is fine with me.
Yes.
That's why I'm here.
That is beautiful. I definitely will come to see you when I come to Vegas, because I've never had one of those energy sessions, but I know, and you mentioned a whole bunch there. I have interviewed someone to show with the somatic healing. I think you talked about that. I was just listening to a YouTube video about the tuning fork, and I started playing that because it said the tuning fork is really great. So yes, and I've never had a Reiki session, but of course I've interviewed people on the show and I know what it's all about and all that. So yes, I will. People take fun little weekend trips to Vegas. I will definitely reach out to you, and then I can have fun both ways. I can have Vegas fun and energy fun.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And
Yes.
it is an amazing thing. It is something that definitely, and I have someone that I have work on me because I can't always see everything either.
Right.
I mean,
Yes.
sometimes I need somebody else and they go, you know what about this? I'm like, oh, thank you. And
Yes.
then they might do something beyond,
Yeah.
an energy healing as well, because
Yes.
sometimes we need a little bit more. But
Yes. Okay. Yes. This is amazing. Well, guys, I will have a transcript of my conversation with Sheri on the show page, which is myhelps.us. I will link out to her website and also list her phone number on there. Sheri, are you on social media?
I am. So on Instagram, it is, well, actually, both Facebook and Instagram. So Oasis to Zen at Facebook, Oasis to Zen, one word. The difference is Instagram, I was hacked a while back, so it's Oasis to Zen Spa, because I never could get the other one back. And I'm on LinkedIn as Cheri Petroni, and I'm also on some other stuff, Cheri Petroni. But I'm at the point where now if somebody Googles me, it's amazing. Like, what's that? And then I don't even, so
awesome.
Yeah, but Oasis to Zen will definitely, I'm the only one in the world that I've been able to find.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I will also have her links on the show page as well, and you can definitely follow her on Facebook or Instagram, which is the two main ones now, and pick up some extra knowledge on energy, because as we started off saying that energy is very, very important. A lot of people do not understand that this physical body is energy, but we also have an energetic body that we talked about. Sheri started off talking about our four energy centers, right? And you can't just, one of my last guests talked about watering all the plants, and people always think they only need to water one plant, but they need to water all the plants, and I love it. So we've got to concentrate on all our energy centers, all our energy bodies. Chakras, energy centers are very, very important. And it's something real. In fact, the book that I was listening to saying that they have, I think it was like the Joseph Spencer book, was talking about how they can measure the energy centers and measure what they do for the body. And it's very important. So I do a meditation once in a while where I'm clearing them. But like Sheri just said, any kind of vibrational healing, anytime you're trying to raise your vibration, you're actually working your chakra systems because they work on energy. So yes, definitely follow Sheri. If you're in Vegas, go check out her spa. Sheri, thank you so much for this very spirited, informational conversation. And I appreciate you being on the show. So as we wrap up, as we wrap up, any last words?
So I was going to say that when you release energy and you clear it, make sure you bring in, you probably already do, but for the rest of you out there, bring in that, higher vibration, God's energy, white light energy, the whole, you know, sprinkles of the beautiful silver energy, that it's filling up your soul. So you're replacing it. Sometimes we don't replace what we've released with new and high energy frequency, and that actually, then the other stuff creeps back in. So that's an important thing. And yeah, if you even like need a resource or two, I have so many resources, so it's hard to really list them all. Give me a text, let's have a quick phone call, and I can send you something. And then if it also intrigues you, then I can walk you through some of those things, because sometimes you need to see what could be for you to be able to move in a different direction, or a more empowered direction. And so I have a lot of those types of things as well. So don't worry, I'm not going to try to sell you the whole, you know, city or anything. I really am here to help and do what I can do when it's in alignment. Like everything else, we have to be in alignment. So thank you very much, Myrna. You're
very welcome. Yes, I really enjoyed our conversation. Yes, you're speaking my language. I love energy, right? And, you know, one of the other things that I learned from Dr. Dwayne Dwyer, because he talks about positive energy. And he says, if you don't feel good, then you're attracting the wrong thing, right? So you got to feel good. So I tried to feel good. And that, again, is vibrational energy. So thank you for being on the show. Thank you for, you know, setting us straight as far as the chakra systems. At least you set me straight about their function in our relationships, in our money, not just our health. So I love that piece. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Transform Your Mind, Transform Your Life. I bring you inspirational guests like Sheri every week, so you can transform your mind, so you can transform your life. If you like what I'm doing on the show, you know, give us a little encouragement by putting a rating, subscribing. If you're watching on YouTube, then leave a comment, which would be great. And also press that subscribe button so that you will be front and center for every week's episode. Sheri, thanks again. Thanks again for you guys tuning in. And until next time, namaste.